Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is the first video of 2025 and before we get into it I just want to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, sorry about the delay on getting this video out. I've been learning DaVinci Resolve as I want to make better videos for you guys, so hopefully that pays off. Secondly, I just want to talk about scheduling quickly. At the moment I am also preparing for EUIC, so I'm hoping to get a video done every 2 weeks as a practice for that, and then after EUIC at the end of February I'm hoping to get videos done weekly. We have got a few more lined up, some requested ones from viewers, some I want to do, so we'll get to those as soon as I can, and I do apologise about any delays in between. With all that being said, let's get on to the video. So today's run is suggested by Sir Cadrix over on Twitch for me, and it is his favourite Pokemon, Yanmega. And we're using a Yanmega that has speed boost. Yanmega's base stat total is quite good. We've got good speed, we've got good special attack, and our move pools is quite limited if I'm being honest, but even with TMs we don't have a lot that we can learn that's going to help us a lot, but we do get access to a few very good and very powerful moves. The beginning of the game we're going to choose Quaxley for this run so that Nemona has the fire type advantage against our bug type. We head on down to the beach, battle Nemona for our first battle, and then we're gonna bring over Yanmega from Pokemon Home. For anyone wondering how I got a low level Yanmega before we get into it, I just bred two Yanmega that both had ancient power, and the Yanma egg has the moves that it can learn naturally by leveling up if both parents do. After we've beaten the fight against Nemona at the gates of Mesagoza and we've unlocked the 3 starting quests and finished the tutorial, we've got a total time of 59 minutes. And now we can head on over and start doing the gyms, Team Star Bases and Titans. The first gym leader of this run is Katie, the bug type gym leader. And we're at level 15, holding wise glasses, and a time of 1 hour and 11 minutes. Katie's got 3 Pokemon, a level 14 Nimble, a level 14 Tarantula, and a level 15 Teddiursa, which she will terrestrialize to the bug type and match her type M. She starts the battle off by sending in Nimble as we send in our Yanmega. We've got Air Slash as it's a level 1 level up move, and Nimble is taken out in 1 Air Slash, which procs our speed boost for the next turn, ensuring that we are going to be faster than any other Pokemon that Katie has. Next up she'll send in her Tarantula, which also will fall to a single Air Slash. Katie then finally sends in Teddiursa, which sometimes survives super effective moves. It's a little bit bulkier than the other 2 bugs, but on this occasion today, a single Air Slash is enough to take it out and give us our first gym badge of the run. We are now over to our second gym badge, and we are going up against the grass type gym leader Brassius. We've got a time of 1 hour 23 minutes, we're still at level 15 and we are holding the wise glasses once again. Brassius has 3 Pokemon, they are Petlil at level 16, Smoliv at level 16 and Sudowoodo at level 17, which will terrestrialize to the grass type and Brassius calls Truliwoodo. We've got a really big type advantage here with both bug and flying resisting grass. So we go for Bug Buzz against the Petlil, taken down in a single hit. The Smoliv is then sent in and is taken down with a single Bug Buzz as well. Sudowoodo is Brassius's final Pokemon, and like I said, it will terrestrialize to grass, so we are going to hit it with Bug Buzz. It has the sturdy ability, so it does survive and hits us with a rock move for some good damage, but we survive and we outspeed massively thanks to our speed boost and take it out with another hit on the final turn, giving us the second gym badge of the run so far. Our first Titan of the run is Clorf, the rock Pokemon. And we are at level 17 now with a time of 1 hour 47 minutes, and we are holding the wise glasses still. For the first phase of this, we beat Clorf in a single hit, as we took a detour before this fight to go halfway around Paldea and grab the TM for Giga Drain. Arven joins us as always for the second phase of any Titan fight, and he brings along Shelder. We start the fight off by terrestrializing so that we're not 4 times weak to rock, only normally weak to it, and hit the Clorf with a Giga Drain, expecting the rock move, but it goes for block, which doesn't do anything to us. We then hit another Giga Drain after Shelder goes for Life Dew, dropping the Clorf down low and activating Clorf's Anger Shell. On the final turn, we are still faster even after Anger Shell thanks to our speed boost buffs, and we can take Clorf out with a final Giga Drain, giving us the ability to dash around quick now while we are riding on our ride Pokemon. After beating Clorf, we head on over to the second Titan of the run, the Open Sky Titan Bombardier, and we're at level 21 with a time of 1 hour 56 minutes, still holding on to the wise glasses. We kept phase 1 of this fight in the video because there's no skip between phase 1 and 2, it just auto starts. And I want to show that phase 1s are never an issue. The Titans aren't buffed, so they take regular damage. We start this fight off by terrestrializing so that we can get extra damage on our bug moves if we use them, as Bombardier is dark, so it is neutral with the flying type as well. And we start off with an Ancient Power turn 1 before we take a Pluck for big damage. On the second turn, we do hit a Bug Buzz and it does trigger the phase 2 without any real issues. Arven joins us for phase 2 with arguably the worst Pokemon he chooses to bring every single time. I genuinely hate this Nacli. Like, I like Nacli as a Pokemon, I just hate Arven's Nacli. At the start of phase 2, we are going to heal because, like I said, there is no break in between, and this is the only point I allow a heal in battle during these runs. Arven's Nacli goes for Rock Polish, unsurprisingly, not doing any damage, just boosting its speed, as we then terrestrialize on the second turn, going for Ancient Power. Partially fishing for the boost, partially just because it's super effective damage. Does a fair bit of damage, and Nacli takes the hit for us. I suppose that's one thing it's good for. On the next turn, Nacli once again goes for Rock Polish as we hit the Bombardier again, bringing it low, meaning that on the final turn we can finish it off. We always stay faster than most other Pokemon thanks to our speed boost ability, so we had no issues with outspeeding and doing good damage. Up next, we are over to the third gym leader that we're facing today, Iono, the electric gym leader. And honestly, Iono is probably the first tough early game challenge, apart from the team star bases, but that's only because the Starmobiles have massively boosted stats. Iono's got 4 Pokemon. They are a Wattrel at level 23, a Bellibolt at 23, Luxio at 23, and Miss Magius at 24, which is Iono's ace Pokemon and will terrestrialize to the electric type, also having no weaknesses thanks to its levitate ability. And we're at level 29 at the start of this fight with a time of 2 hours, 20 minutes, and once again holding the Wise Glasses. We start the fight off by taking the Wattrel out with an Ancient Power before Bellibolt is sent in. We then terrestrialize, take it out with a Bug Buzz, take out the Luxio, and then Miss Magius is sent in. And Miss Magius has better special defense than most of the Pokemon that we've faced so far, so it does survive the Bug Buzz. It's not faster than us thanks to speed boost. It hits us with a Confuse Ray, but luckily we don't hit ourselves in confusion and take the Miss Magius out before it can hex us on the next turn, giving us our 3rd gym badge of the run so far, with still no resets, which is quite good at this point for an average Pokemon. After Iono, we head on over to our first team star base, and we're going against the dark type Giacomo. We are at level 30 with a time of 2 hours 33 minutes as we enter the team star base. There's no way for me to check the time in between the rush of knocking a 30 Pokemon out and the star battle starting, so I just save outside and check the time before we enter. Giacomo's only got 2 Pokemon, and they are Pawniard and Revavroom, which is the Starmobile, so in this case it is a dark type, and Pawniard is Dark Steel. So we take the Pawniard out with a Bug Buzz leading to the Starmobile. And as I said before, the Starmobiles are only difficult because they are boosted in their stats. So we hit it with Bug Buzz for super effective damage, doing massive damage to it before we can finish it off on the next turn, giving us the first of 5 Team Star bases defeated. We head on over to Kofu next, the water type gym leader. And we've got a time of 2 hours 49 minutes. We are at level 30 and we are holding the Wise Glasses once again. We're back on a gym leader that only has 3 Pokemon again, and those 3 Pokemon are a level 29 Veluza, a level 29 Wugtrio, and a Crabominable for the ace Pokemon, which will terrestrialize to the water type. Kofu starts the fight off with Veluza, and we are going to terrestrialize to Bug as Veluza is water psychic, so a Bug Buzz will take it out, and then Kofu will send in Wugtrio next. Wugtrio is very fast, but luckily thanks to our speed boost ability, we are now faster than it, and we can take it out with a single Giga Drain. Kofu then sends in Crabominable and terrestrializes to water, like I said. We hit it with a Giga Drain, doing big damage to it as it hits back and doesn't KO us, and we can finish it off on the next turn, outspeeding, hitting another Giga Drain to knock it out and give us our 4th gym badge so far of the run. After beating Kofu, we head on over to the 3rd Titan now, the Lurking Steel Titan, Orthworm. And we've leveled up a little bit here, so we're at level 38, and we've got a time of 3 hours, 21 minutes, holding the wise glasses still. We had to level up quite a bit as we had no moves that were not resisted by Orthworm. So 38 was the point where I thought, yeah, this should be fine. We start the fight off by terrestrializing, going for a Bug Buzz, which surprisingly does about half of Orthworm's HP, before we take a Wrap, locking us in place and doing a little bit of chip damage at the end of each turn. Luckily it's not going to kill us or anything, so on the next turn we go for another Bug Buzz, finishing off the Lurking Steel Titan and giving us the ability to jump high while on our ride Pokemon. We are over now to our 5th gym leader, everyone's favourite gym leader, Larry. And we've actually had 2 resets at this point against Larry. The first being at level 38 and the second being at level 41. We're now at level 46 for this fight with a time of 3 hours and 50 minutes, still holding the wise glasses. Larry has 3 Pokemon, those being Kamala at level 35, the Dunsparce at level 35 and Staraptor, which is Larry's ace Pokemon and will terrestrialize to the normal type at level 36. Kamala and the Dunsparce are... there are no words for how annoying they can be. Kamala loves to go for Yawn, the Dunsparce loves to go for Glare, so you pretty much need to either be able to one-shot them or have a berry equipped to not get status. We also have changed our moveset here and we've gone for Uproar so the Kamala can't put us to sleep. Luckily for us, it doesn't take the Dunsparce out straight away, so even though we get paralysed, our speed comes back up thanks to Speed Boost. By the time that Staraptor comes out, we are able to be faster thanks to Speed Boost, and after it terrestrializes to the normal type, we can take it out with Bug Buzzers, giving us our 5th gym badge of the run, and also meaning that we are now at the halfway point of our badge collection for the run. After beating Larry, we can change our Terra type now, so we get given the 53 Terra Normal shards when we go and speak to the person who changes the Terra types. So we change to the normal type and go and head towards the Fire type, Team Starbase and the leader Mela. Mela has 2 Pokemon, and those are Torkoal and the Starmobile Revavroom with the Fire type. We're at level 47 with a time of 4 hours 7 minutes and still holding the wise glasses. Mela leads off with Torkoal and it is quite a bulky Pokemon. Also, it has the drought ability, which sets up the sun, boosting fire type damage, also lowering water damage if you have any water moves, but we don't in this run. We start the fight off by terrestrializing to the normal type so that they don't have any super effective moves against us, and go for an uproar as it's boosted by the terrestrialization. It does take Torkoal out in one hit, which was surprising to me, leading to the Starmobile. As I said, this one is a fire type. It outspeeds us still because we don't have enough speed boosts up, and hits us with overheat for decent damage, but not enough to worry me, as an uproar drops it to about 2/3. It also has the speed boost ability, so it stays faster than us during the fight. Hits us again on the final turn before we take it out on the final uproar, giving us 2 team star leaders beaten. And now we're going to head on towards the mid-game section with some of the more, not challenging, but should be more challenging gym leaders. We are over to the ghost type gym leader now, which is Rhyme. And Rhyme has 4 Pokemon. Those are Banette at level 41, Mimikyu at level 41, Houndstone at 41, and Toxtricity at 42, which is Rhyme's ace Pokemon and will terrestrialize to the ghost type. This is the only mandatory double battle section, this and the gym leader challenge that you have to do before you can face the gym leader. So we have our trusty Azurill with us, and it's just going to splash for the fact that it has to be in the battle, no other reason. We are at level 48 with a time of 4 hours 31 minutes, still holding the wise glasses. And I like Rhyme's fight because the crowd is influenced by what you do and don't do, which I always think is very cool. But we're going to start the fight off terrestrializing so that we can't get hit by any ghost type moves, as we're immune to them as a normal type, and hitting Banette, which doesn't take it out, which surprised me at the time. But after that we do get the Omni Boost for terrestrializing and take the Banette out on the next turn. This leads to Houndstone coming in, which, because we've been boosted and taken the Banette out, got another boost to our attacks. We do take out in a hit, and then Toxtricity comes in, terrestrializes, and gets taken out as well, leaving only the Mimikyu, which I've left alive since the beginning of the fight. And as it can't do too much damage to us, we just take it out with a couple of air slashes. The first one to break the disguise ability, and the next one to actually kill it. With Rhyme beaten, we also now have 6 gym badges, which means that we can now go and buy bottle caps and vitamins, so we can boost our EVs and IVs, giving us the ability to do more damage, take more hits, be faster, and whatever else we do. For this Yanmega, we had no perfect IVs, so we focused on those with the bottle caps and got some vitamins just to boost our special attack and speed. Next up is the Psychic Gym Leader Tulip. And honestly, Tulip is my worst gym leader, just because of the ESP challenge you have to do before you can battle Tulip. It drags on. The first round itself has 16, I've counted them. I can't remember how many the second round has, but it is very frustrating. Tulip has 4 Pokemon. They are Faragirif at level 44, Gardevoir at level 44, a Sparfra at 44, and Tulip's ace Pokemon Florges, which will terrestrialize to the Psychic type, and it's at level 45. We start the battle with Tulip off with a time of 5 hours exactly, and we are at level 52, still holding onto the Wise Glasses. We can take Faragirif out with a single Bug Buzz. We can't use Bug Buzz against Gardevoir because Fairy resists Bug for some unknown reason, so we go for Shadow Ball, doing big damage before taking a Psychic and finishing it off on the next turn. A Sparfra is sent in third, and we take that out with a Bug Buzz, before Tulip finally sends in her ace Pokemon, terrestrializes it, and we hit a Bug Buzz for big damage before it hits us, not able to take us out, and we can finish it off with a final Bug Buzz, giving us our 7th gym badge. Next up, we head on over to the Poison type Team Starbase and challenge the leader Atticus. We've got a time of 5 hours, 11 minutes and a level of 53, still holding on to our trusty Wise Glasses that we've had since the beginning of the game. Atticus has 4 Pokemon, those being Skuntank, Muck, Revavroom and then the Starmobile Revavroom. We picked up Psychic after beating Tulip, as that's the TM reward we get for beating Tulip. So with that, we can Bug Buzz the Skuntank and take it out before Muck comes in, which we can hit with Psychic to take out. Revavroom comes in, we don't have anything super effective, so our best move is also Psychic. And then finally, the Starmobile comes in. It does survive the Psychic, surprisingly, as at this point we are quite over leveled for Atticus in general. I think they're at level 30-ish usually. But with a solo run, we have to come at a later level anyway. And on the final turn, we finish off the Starmobile with a Psychic, and that gives us our 3rd Team Starbase victory. Only 2 more left to go. Next up, we're going to head on over to Great Tusk. We're still at level 53 with a time of 5 hours, 23 minutes. And as always, for the phase 2 of a Titan fight, Arven joins us, this time bringing along his Scovillain. We start the fight off with a massive Giga Drain, as then we get hit with a Brick Break, not doing a lot of damage. And Scovillain goes for Scary Face, which just lowers Great Tusk's speed. It doesn't really help us as we have speed boost, so we are faster than the Great Tusk. But then after that, one more Giga Drain is enough to take Great Tusk down, giving us the ability to glide now on our ride Pokemon, and only one more Titan left for us to defeat at this point. It's time now to head on over to our final gym leader, Grusha. And Grusha's team consists of a Frostmoth at level 47, a Beartic at level 47, Satitan at level 47, and Altaria, which is Grusha's ace and will terrestrialize to the ice type to match the rest of Grusha's team, and that is at level 48. Against the Frostmoth we have Ancient Power, which will one-shot it, it's 4 times weak to. And we've had a couple of resets against Grusha, once because I didn't want to terrestrialize and once just because I missed out on a KO. So at this point we are at level 57 with a time of 5 hours 33 minutes and holding the Wise Glasses as always. Once Beartic is sent in, we terrestrialize to normal so that we are not weak to any of the ice moves. It survives the hit of Bug Buzz but doesn't do too much damage to us and falls on the next turn. After that is beaten, so Titan comes in, and it's pretty much the same thing. We hit it with Bug Buzz, it survives, and then we take it out on the next turn, leaving only Altaria, which we take out, and then giving us our 8th gym badge, leaving us free to go and challenge the Elite Four when we are ready to, which will not be straight after this. The final Titan is up next, Tatsugiri, and for the first and second phase of Dondozo, we have Giga Drain. It's weak to it. You can imagine how it went, if I'm being honest. But we are at level 57 still, and a time of 5 hours and 44 minutes now. For Tatsugiri, we terrestrialize to normal so that we're not weak to Icy Wind, as Tatsugiri does love to go for Icy Wind, slowing down Pokemon. It won't have an effect on us thanks to our speed boost at the end of each turn. And we just keep hitting Giga Drains each round until Tatsugiri finally falls. As always, Arven joins us with his Greedent, uses Takedown a few times. I think it uses Tail Whip as well a couple of times. Doesn't really do too much, but helps us out more than certain other Pokemon that Arven brings to these Titan battles. And with Tatsugiri beaten, we now have the ability to climb up walls, so we can head over to Eri when we're ready to. I don't believe you can get round to Eri without doing the wall climbing. There probably is a way, but I've never found it. And it also means that we can head down to Pokepath Lighthouse and find out about the final story quest and battle Arven there when we are ready to. Before we go and take on Arven and the Elite Four, we are going to go finish off the Team Star bases, and we're starting that with the Fairy type Team Star base and Ortega the leader. We are at level 59 with a time of 5 hours 59 minutes, and we're still holding on to our trusty Wise Glasses that we've had all along now. Ortega has 4 Pokemon. Those are Azumarill, Wigglytuff, Darkspun, and the Fairy type Starmobile. And this fight is super annoying, if I'm being honest. Not because it's difficult, but because we don't really have moves to hit Ortega's Pokemon for super effective damage, and they are all quite tanky, although they don't do a lot of damage to us in return. The Azumarill that starts off is probably the easiest for us to beat, as it is Water type and we have Giga Drain, but it doesn't fall in one hit, and then it goes for Bounce, doing a bit of damage to us before we can actually take it out. Once Wigglytuff comes in, we Giga Drain it for about half its health, and we take a Gyro Ball for a bit of damage before we can heal that up with another Giga Drain. Darkspun comes in and we can take that out after taking a Play Rough for a bit of damage, before finally the Starmobile comes in. The Starmobile, when it comes in, sets up Misty Terrain as its ability, which means that you can't use any status moves or can't have any status effect against us or them. But it also goes for Steel Roller on its first turn usually, which gets rid of the Misty Terrain. We just keep Giga Draining because we can out damage it. We are faster than it thanks to Speed Boost. And it goes for Magical Talk, trying to get a status on us once the Mr. Trainer's gone, but doesn't manage to get it. After a few rounds of back and forth, we take it down, and we've beaten the 4th Team Star base and only have one more left to go before we go start taking on the end game challenges. Our final Team Starbase is the Fighting type Team Starbase against the leader Eri, and we've had one reset against Eri. Annihilate survived and Rage Fist took me out. That's all there was to it. We're at level 64 at this point with a time of 6 hours 27 minutes, and as always we've got our wise glasses with us. Eri has 5 Pokemon. Those are Toxicroak, which is Eri's lead Pokemon, Lucario, Persimmon, Annihilate, and the Fighting type Starmobile. We kept Psychic for Toxicroak specifically, as it's 4 times weak to it, and it goes down in a single hit. After that, we take out Persimmon with Air Slash, Annihilate with Shadow Ball, and Lucario, we just have to chip down a bit. We are faster than everything with all the speed boosts we get. Finally is the Starmobile, which comes out, takes an Air Slash for big damage. It has the stamina ability, but we're not hitting it with physical moves, so it doesn't really matter. And we are 4 times resistant to fighting moves overall, so we are able to take out the Starmobile, giving us all 5 of the Team Starbases defeated, meaning that our next challenge is to beat Arven, Clavel, or the Elite Four, depending on what is easier for us. So we're going to head on over to that now. At this point, we've had a few more resets again, trying the Elite Four, but I could not get past Poppy. So I thought I'd come and give Arven a try, and we managed to beat Arven. We're at level 65 with a time of 7 hours exactly, and we're holding leftovers for this fight now. Arven's got a team of Pokemon that he's used throughout our adventures together, and those are Greedent, the Garganacl that's evolved from the Nacli against Bombardier, Scovillain that he caught for the Great Tusk fight, Toedscruel that joined us against Orthworm, Cloyster that was the shoulder that was in the very first Titan fight, Cloth, and finally Arven's trusty Mabostiff, which was why we did all of the Titan fights to get the Herba Mystica. Arven leads off with Greedent, and we can take it out with a couple of Giga Drains without too much issues. Next up is Garganacl. It's always more specially bulky than I think it is, so we Terrestrialize and hit it with a Giga Drain for big damage and restoring any health that we lost against the Greedent. After Garganacl goes down, Scovillain comes in, and we could take that out with Air Slash as it's weak to it. Cloyster falls to Giga Drain because it's Cloyster, it's good defensively but not specially, and Ice doesn't resist Grass, surprisingly, even though it's super effective against it. It always feels weird that Ice only resists Ice. Sorry, I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but it always just feels really weird. I always feel like I should have more resistances, but that's not the point. And Arven's Mabostiff is... oh, Toedscruel, I forgot about Toedscruel. Toedscruel goes down to Air Slash as well. It's not really much of a threat. Arven's Mabastiff is what Arven will terrestrialize to the Dark type, and we've got Bug Buzz, so Bug Buzz manages to take it out, and that means that we have done the Path of Legends challenge, and we've only got 2 more to do before we can go and do the way home and head into Area 0. Still unsure of how to beat Poppy in the Elite Four at this point, we went and tried Director Clavel, who is the last roadblock before we can beat Penny and finish off the Starfall Street. We're at level 66 with a time of 7 hours 9 minutes, and we're still holding leftovers for this fight. Clavel's team varies depending on which starter you chose. Clavel will always have the Oranguru, Poltergeist and Abomasnow, but the Gyarados, Amoonguss and Houndoom will depend on your starter, and then Clavel will have the starter that was left over between you and Nemona at the start of the game. So in this case, Clavel's starter is Meowscarada, and it's also the starter that is terrestrialized during this fight. Once we take Oranguru out without any issues, Gyarados is sent in, we terrestrialize against it to take it out eventually. It is quite a good Pokemon, it does cause a few problems. Then we can deal with Houndoom, Poltergeist and Abomasnow without too much problems, leaving only the Meowscarada, which we can take out with a Bug Buzz and give us our pathway to the final battle of the Team Star path. We are now at the final challenge for the Team Star Path, and we are against Cassiopeia, also known as Penny, for anyone who was unaware or who hasn't been following these videos, as we've done quite a few. It's not really that big of a surprise. We're at level 68 with a time of 7 hours 17 minutes and still holding our leftovers at this point. Penny's got 6 Pokemon, so those are Umbreon, Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Leafeon and Sylveon. Penny's lead Umbreon is weak to bug moves, so we hit it with a Bug Buzz as it hits us with a Baby Doll Eyes, lowering our attack, which doesn't do anything as we're special attackers, and we can take it out in the next turn having 2 speed boosts. Speed boosts are important because Jolteon is a very fast Pokemon, but it is Flareon that is sent in next, and we terrestrialize against it going for the Ancient Power because it's super effective, and it also may boost our stats, which would be really helpful as Sylveon is quite difficult to deal with further down the line. Once the Flareon is dealt with, we can take Vaporeon out without any issues with Giga Drain. Jolteon we can take out with Bug Buzz. Leafeon is also weak to Bug Buzz, and that just leaves, like I said, the Sylveon, which is a little bit of a problem. It is got good defenses, it's got good attack, and overall I think it's the best evolution for battles. Obviously Umbreon is my favourite evolution by a long shot, but in terms of battle prowess, I think Sylveon is the best, personally. We are able to survive the Moonblast from Sylveon, hanging on, and then we can take it out, meaning that the only thing we can do now in terms of the game is go and challenge the Elite Four again, which I've been putting off because honestly I don't know how to get past Poppy at this point. It's been a difficult challenge to try and figure it out, but we will. And here we are, on to the Elite Four. And honestly, the Elite Four has been a problem for me in this run. We start the fight off against Rika, the ground type Elite Four member. And honestly, Rika's not the challenge. You can see we've had another reset here, but that was against Poppy. Before this, we have a couple more in between before I figure out how to actually beat Poppy. But this was one of the earlier videos of us beating Rika, so I wanted to keep it in to show that Rika was not the problem at all. So for the actual Elite Four, when we win, we are at level 76 when we come in, and we have a time of 7 hours and 53 minutes. For this fight, I believe we're at level 69 and it was 7 hours 33 minutes. But we have Giga Drain, and I shouldn't really need to say anything more for a ground type gym leader, Elite Four member, sorry, that's my bad. But Rika's got a 5 Pokemon team, and those are Whiscash, Donphan, Camerupt, Dugtrio and Clodsire. Whiscash is obviously 4 times weak to grass, so it falls to a single move. Donphan has Sturdy, so it does survive, but doesn't do enough damage to take us out. Camerupt is the only one that has fire moves, so it is able to hit us for super effective damage, but we Terrestrialize, and a couple of Giga Drains take it out. We are faster than the Dugtrio now, thanks to all the speed boosts, so we can take Dugtrio out with a Giga Drain. And this just leaves Clodsire, which will Terrestrialize to Pure Ground, meaning it loses the poison typing. So we can do a lot of damage to it, but it is bulky, and it is so annoying because it loves to go for Toxic and Protect and just stall itself out. It's not difficult in any meaning, it's just super annoying the fact that it likes to do this so often. But once Clodsire falls, that is Rika of the Elite Four beaten. And we have 3 more members to beat before we can go take on the champion fight. And here we are against the second Elite Four member, the Steel type user Poppy. And after several resets and a lot of thinking, I decided the only way to do this was to either massively overlevel, making the rest of the fight excessively trivial, or we would have to find a way to give ourselves a super effective move. So we opted for the latter, giving ourselves a Terror Blast and changing our Terror type to Fighting. Poppy has Copper Raja, Corviknight, Bronzong, Magnezone and Tinkaton. Poppy's lead, Copper Raja, falls to a Terror Blast before Corviknight comes in. It doesn't die to a Terror Blast due to the fact that it is also flying, so it's only a neutral hit, but it only goes for iron defense, and as our Terror Blast is special, it doesn't make any difference and we take it out on the next turn. Bronzong comes in and we Terror Blast it, doing good damage before we can take that out on the second turn, leaving Magnezone before Poppy's ace Tinkaton. Magnezone is super annoying as it has Sturdy and likes to set up screens so that we can't do as much damage. But once it hits the Sturdy, any move will finish it off on the second turn as long as we do 1 HP of damage to it, leaving only Tinkaton. And our Terror Blast, because of the screens, do about half damage as we take a Gigaton Hammer, which is Tinkaton's signature move. It does really big damage, it's very powerful, it's a good move overall, but it is not enough to finish us off and we can take the Tinkaton out on the next move, meaning that we've finally beaten Poppy and we can go ahead and challenge the third member of the Elite Four next. Larry is once again joining us, this time as the third member of the Elite Four, and this time Larry is a flying type user. Larry's team consists of Tropius, Staraptor, Altaria, Oricorio and Flamigo, and we actually get to make use of Ancient Power during this fight. So we hit Ancient Power against Tropius, it doesn't finish it off, but we finish it off on the next turn with a Bug Buzz. After that, Staraptor comes in and it is taken down with a single Ancient Power. Altaria comes in after that and it doesn't go down to a single Ancient Power, but a Flamethrower from Altaria does burn us, which is super annoying because it's a bit of extra chip damage each turn. But we survive and it's not ultimately the biggest issue. Taking Altaria down with a Terror Blast on the second turn. Oricorio then comes in, which is taken down without any issues. We one-shot it with Ancient Power before Larry's ace Pokemon Flamigo comes in and it also goes down to a single Ancient Power after terrestrializing to be pure flying type instead of having the fighting. Otherwise it would have survived. But with that, we've beaten the third member of the Elite Four, and there is only one more left for us to beat before we can go and face the champion. Next up is the final Elite Four member, Hassel. And Hassel's team consists of Noivern, Dragalage, Haxorus, Flapple, and Excalibur, which will terrestrialize to be pure dragon instead of dragon ice. And for this, we are going to use Detect, as we learned that as a level up move, against the Noivern to activate our speed boost so that we can outspeed it, take it out with an ancient power, and not get hit with Super Fang, which is super annoying. After that, all of the other Pokemon are quite easy to beat. Haxorus is one shot with Bug Buzz, so is Flapple. Dragalage is killed with a Psychic, and Excalibur is the only one that it does survive a hit from us and hits us with a Dragon Glaive, but we do survive and take it out on our final turn, giving us the victory against the Elite Four, leaving only the champion fight and one other fight afterwards until we can then go and head down to Area 0 and do the way home. And here we are, finally at the champion fight against Geeta. After beating the Elite Four, we're at level 78 and we have a time of 8 hours 21. We're holding Wise Glasses again. We did have leftovers for Arven, Clavel and Penny, but that's the only fights we've used leftovers for during this, as thanks to speed boost it's just better to get more damage off and take things out as quick as possible, in my opinion anyway. Geeta's team has Veluza, Avalugg, Gogoat, King Gambit, Esparthra and Glimora, which will terrestrialize to be a rock type, and we have moves to deal with all of these quite easily, especially as our Terra type is still fighting, so we are super effective against King Gambit and Glimora. So after taking down Esparthra and King Gambit with Terra Blast, we are able to take down the rest of Geeta's Pokemon without any issues during this at all. For a champion fight, Geeta's always very easy or very difficult depending on which solo Pokemon we're doing. In this case it's been very easy, so we are free now to finish off the final battle of this challenge before we can go down to Area 0, and that is the battle against Nemona. And here we are now at the final battle of the Victory Road Challenge, and it is of course Nemona, our final rival battle of the story. We're at level 79 with a time of 8 hours 30 minutes, which is a good time I think for these runs, especially as we don't have a lot of variety in our move pool. We've pretty much had the same moves since the beginning, only picking up Giga Drain, Psychic and Shadow Ball to help us out along the way. Oh, and Terra Blast but we get given Terror Blast. Everyone gets Terror Blast. Nemona's team consists of Lycanroc, Pawmot, the Dunsparce, Goodra, Orthworm, and the starter that Nemona picks at the beginning. So in our case, that is Skeledirge. A lot of Nemona's team has a weakness to fighting, so luckily for us, our Terra type is still on fighting, and we can take out the Lycanroc with a Terra Blast. The Dunsparce is also weak to fighting, and so is Orthworm. Pawmot is decent enough at doing damage, but it's not the bulkiest, especially once it goes for its signature move, Thunder Shock. I don't know if it is its signature move, Double Shock, the one that gets rid of its electric type, but it doesn't get the chance to, as Terra Blast is enough to take it down. With that, the Dunsparce is sent in next, and that is also easy for us to beat with our fighting type. Goodra is the only real issue, and it doesn't do too much damage to us, so it only takes 2 turns to take Goodra down before Nemona will send in her ace Pokemon and terrestrialize it to be pure fire, which means we can hit it with fighting moves as well. Once that's done, we've beaten Nemona, and we can go and start the way home. And we'll be back once we've done that and are on the final battle of the run. And here we are against AI Sada for the final battle that Yanmega needs to take part in. There is one more battle after this, which is the outro battle. And Sada's team is Slitherwing, Screamtail, Fluttermane, Sandy Shocks, Brute Bonnet, and Roaring Moon. And Slitherwing is not difficult to beat. It is bug fighting, I believe, so it's really weak to Air Slash anyway. Screamtail and Fluttermane are both quite bulky, but they are weak to the Ghost move Shadow Ball. Brute Bonnet and Roaring Moon are both weak to Bug Buzz. And of course Sandy Shocks is ground, so it's weak to Giga Drain. We have moves to take them all out without any issues. And we don't really have any issues. Thanks to speed boost, we end up faster than everything. Roaring Moon is usually the most difficult one because by the end you're a little bit worn out, but we are faster, we hit hard, and we take Roaring Moon out without any problems. So with that, we've officially beaten the run with a total of 16 resets in total, which is pretty good. I can't complain. And here we are at the outro battle, as I call it, because this is where I say all my outro stuff. It is the battle of Koraidon versus Koraidon. And like I said, Yanmega's done this challenge with a very limited move pool. I think Yanmega's done very well. I think Speed Boost has been the biggest reason why, and I've tried not to abuse it by using protect or detect. There was only one fight I felt it was necessary, and that was the hassle fight. For all of the others, we haven't run protect at all. We have a completed time after the credits roll and everything of 9 hours and 36 minutes, which puts us just below Gengar but just above Chandelure. So overall not bad. Obviously nothing's going to beat Mewtwo's run ever, I don't believe. Total time of 7 hours 14 minutes for Mewtwo is just, I think it's going to be untouchable for a very long time, until we can get certain Pokemon into Pokemon Go, like possibly Miraidon and Koraidon. They could probably do well, especially Miraidon. And Fluttermane, I believe, would do really well, but they're not available at a low level for me at this moment in time. So while this battle plays out, I just want to say a few things. Firstly, thank you to everyone who's watched this video, made it this far in. I really appreciate it, and I do really enjoy doing these challenges, so thank you to everyone who gives me suggestions for Pokemon. That's always a lot of fun. It helps me know what direction to go into next and things. And lastly, we reached a small milestone, but a milestone nonetheless, on the last Mewtwo video where we hit 10 subscribers. So to those 10 subscribers, I really want to say a big thank you to you. I never thought I would get even a couple of subscribers doing these videos, especially while still kind of learning all the video editing stuff. So to have 10 and be on the step to one day maybe being able to monetize these videos, that is fantastic. And I do really appreciate that. As always, if you want to watch me shiny hunt, I am live on Twitch with the same username on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. But if not, I will see you in the next video, which has been suggested to me by Nemo, and I've just got to grab the Pokemon for it and start the videos. Until the next time I see you, I hope you stay well and look after yourselves. Thank you once again.